All right, guys, everyone talks about protein, but no one talks about what makes it actually work. So what are your thoughts on that, Dr. Pei?
Well, I'm not a big believer in biohacks and all that, but I'll tell you what, there's a protein fiber synergy hack that we're going to talk about in this episode that I think that will benefit a lot of people. We don't want to think of it that way. And from what I could see, there's not a lot out there about this. So I think that this will be valuable to our listeners. So the fiber protein synergy. Sometimes high protein diets can be made better if you add a second ingredient that's crucial for overall health anyway, and that is fiber. So, I mean, have you guys ever heard of people eating like a lean piece of like protein, like chicken breast, and feeling hungry later, despite the fact that they're trying to eat a high protein diet?
Yes.
Yeah,
I always feel that way.
right? Right. So we'll describe how if you add fiber to that protein, and there's different combinations. If you're short on time, there's like supplemental, like two supplements being combined. But if you have the time to eat dinner, you can have whole food sources of this and take advantage of this synergistic combination. So the concept is a metabolic partnership between your digestive hormones and your gut microbiome. We'll keep on talking about microbiome, and I'm telling you, I see more and more stuff about microbiome and colon cancer, microbiome and mental health. It's funny, we talked a lot, we have an episode on that on our podcast platform, but New York Times and Wall Street Journal, there's more and more stuff about how this is a big part of health. It is everywhere.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. So protein triggers naturally full hormones like natural endogenous GLP-1 in the body. So it tells you, okay, you're full. So, for me, I find myself not able to eat more than a certain amount of protein, even if I try. I can put away the steak, but after that, I get pretty full. I do find myself itching for something else later sometimes, and that's what happens here. So what we can do is add that fiber component, a resistant starch, or some other type of fiber. It adds the physical volume for the body. And that physical volume slows down digestion, and they could help you stay satisfied for hours at a time versus getting hungry shortly after you eat something. And actually, if we think about carbohydrates raising insulin or causing insulin release, or protein does that too. But fiber kind of acts like a metabolic speed bump, kind of slows things down a little bit, makes sure forces the body to go, whoa, hold it from there. Let's kind of sit with this protein for a little bit and these carbs. Gotcha. And prevents that spike and crash. I mean, obviously fiber helps with sugar as well, but it helps with protein. And I think protein is something that's a crucial micronutrient. Sugar is not crucial in any context, although it tastes good.
Right. This is interesting talking about this because it immediately makes me think about people on the carnivore diet. And I'm guessing they're not getting any fiber. They're just getting protein sources. So how does that work with them?
That's a good point, because I do think one of the key elements of a healthy diet is having fiber and short chain fatty acid production. They have what's called, this is going to sound gross, but putrefaction in the gut. What does that mean? Since you're not eating any fiber, you got protein and basically leftover meat in your gut, and your microbiome there has to adjust to that. And that sounds it sounds distasteful and just gross, right? Putrefaction. Right. That sounds like rotting meat in your gut. The jury's still out on that. Like, is that a good thing long term? I've never done a carnivore diet, but that was one of my top concerns, is just eating that all the time. I think that if you can tolerate vegetables and fiber, I think it's the way to go. But like I said, there's people out there who swear by the carnivore diet because they've had so many bad flare-ups with autoimmune things or irritable bowel or digestive issues. But if you're not in that camp, certainly I think that having fiber is the way to go.
All right, cool. So what are some examples of combining fiber with the protein in a meal? Can you give us any?
Yeah. So let's say you have time to make a real dinner. Salmon and asparagus. So you got your protein, you got your good fats, and then the asparagus, you got various kinds of fibers in there. When you eat those together in a single meal, there is that, again, that protein fiber synergy. When I'm on the run, maybe, and I have a little less time, maybe you eat your breakfast with eggs and an avocado. So the eggs provide the complete protein. It's an animal protein, just like the salmon. And the avocado has healthy fats and fiber in there. Let's say you're in a rush, you don't have as much time. I think of Greek yogurt and chia seeds, right? If you're into chia seeds or something like that, that provides, again, that animal protein in the form of dairy, but chia seeds provides both the fiber and the amino acids from the protein. Now, this is highly processed, but if you're in a rush, what I'll do is I'll actually mix whey protein with, bio.me or BioMe, right? Here's again. We're not sponsored, but but it gives you that protein. In fact, I find it good because whey protein is a quick release. Sometimes it causes such a huge insulin release. It'll actually cause an energy crash in me. When I mix it with BioMe, it doesn't do that. And I find myself satiated for a longer period of time. I don't think it doesn't have all the whole food nutrients like the other three examples I give, whether it's the Greek yogurt, the chia seeds, salmon and asparagus, or eggs and avocado. But you have the macros in there. But I would lean on the whole food sources more. That's a great example of 4 different combos, all protein, all fiber, one being more processed and not as ideal as the other 3. Sure. But again, how much time do you have? Well, are you on the go? So if you're having, I can mix up whey protein and the resistant starch powder in a minute. If I have a little more time, I can do the Greek yogurt and throw some chia seeds in there. Sure. And if I have a little more time, and eggs and avocado. Go ahead, John.
I don't eat anything in the morning, but I do put that BioMe in my coffee.
Do you notice a difference, John, with satiety?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I have I've felt like my gut's been much better in the past few months because of that. So,
and that's why the carnivore diet, to me, again, I'm not going to poo-poo people there are people that swear by it, but my own boy is taking a different kind of fiber supplement called sun fiber, which is BioMe can have some effects that are more just stronger right away. All right. But this pollen season, no watery eyes, no sneezing, no carrying on, none of that stuff. And that tells me, I was like, yeah, your little guys in your gut are making short chain fatty acids, and your immune system is doing better. Wow. So, and you take that and expand it. You can see how that could decrease your chance of irritable bowel disease or inflammatory bowel like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis or even cancer. But you mix that with protein, which you need to build muscles. I think this is one of the more important topics, and it's easy. You just saw 4 food combos with different varieties of time. If you want to grill salmon and make a really fancy asparagus dish, that's a dinner time thing. But of course, out the door, whey protein and BioMe, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
So how much fiber and protein should we take in a meal?
I think a meal, I like to stick around the 20 to 40 grams, depending on your body size, and maybe 5 to 8 grams of fiber. But remember, if you're starting fiber for the first time, whole food sources are okay. Those supplements you got to be careful of, because if you take too much in one day, your body's got to get used to that. And just remember, think of fiber as food for your microbiome. Your microbiome is crucial. It's very, I think they're going to find out more research about how important it is in cancer prevention and inflammatory disorders. And I'm telling you, the allergy season, we had a awful pollen season in Georgia this year, right? I mean, my car would wash my car and I would see it covered in like 2 minutes later, right? And my wife and my son, they would just be sneezing and hacking, and none of that this year. And this is the first year they took, I can't, again, this is anecdotal, it's N of 2, but they're convinced. They said, wow. And they just say they feel better overall just taking that.
So you can make it N of 3 because, well, maybe 4 too, because you got John on it too. Yeah. But you got me taking it, and I take it with my whey protein in the morning as well. And I do feel much better.
Yeah.
I have not paid attention to allergies. It has, now that you've been talking, I've been thinking about it. My allergies have been much better this year.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that maybe the BioMe was what played into it. So very interesting. Now I got to keep an eye on that. So.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. And I think, again, of course, it's a supplement, but man, I think about these days, ever since I started this podcast, I've been trying to eat more vegetables actually. So I just go to the market, I say, oh, their red cabbage looks good. The kale looks good. The broccoli looks good. And I just try to eat a variety of those. I'm thinking, I still take the supplements plus that. And I feel better than I ever have. So it's kind of like practice what you preach, right? We talk about it. And I was like, when I go to the market, buy that stuff, incorporate it with your piece of steak, fish, and keep it simple.
Absolutely. Keep it simple.
That's right.
All right, listeners, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube for other educational videos and content. And remember, health isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Thanks so much for watching. We hope this episode gave you powerful, practical health tips you can actually use. If you enjoyed this content, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel and podcast grow. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook so you never miss an episode. When you support us, you're helping more people just like you get access to real, helpful health information. Let's grow together and live a health yeah life.